So, after knocking on so many doors just to get my letter giving my mother permission, it needed to be stamped by a, what do you call it? Public?
A notary.
Republic? Notary
Republic, yeah.
I feel like we're making that up.
No, it's a notary republic. Notary.
Oh, public?
Yeah. No, notary. It says notary something.
Okay, that person. In South Africa, it's very straightforward. We just take whatever we need signed to the police station and they stamp it. And Bob is your uncle. You have the confirmation that you need from an authoritative figure. In the States, it does not work like that. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our channel. If it's your first time here, we are so happy to have you. And if you are one of our regular subscribers, viewers, listeners, good to have you back.
Welcome.
We are about to get straight into episode 10 of Going the Distance with
Can you believe it?
Nico Rocks. We are very close to the end of season 1, which is a little bit unbelievable. But we are here and we are ready to rock and roll. Hello everybody and welcome back to Going the Distance with Nico Rocks. I'm your host Roxanne aka Rock Sizzle, and I'm joined by my handsome husband and co-host Nikolai Rowe.
We are in the house.
You sound almost like you drank something.
I'm drunk.
On love.
Yeah, on love.
Going the Distance is a space where we share our personal story and the ins and outs of long distance dating.
Long distance dating is certainly what we did. Last episode, the girls finally, after years,
literally,
of
after years,
long distance, my girls finally made it to the States. They got in safely. They had a lovely home to walk into.
Mm-hmm.
We got married. That was amazing.
That was. Yaz got into a good school.
Yaz started school. We started our paperwork, but then we realized we had another roadblock with our attorney, and we fired her ass.
Oh my gosh, we did though. We did, and I'm so thankful that we were able to finally do that. I'm sure all of you that have been listening and following the story from day one know that it was high time.
Yo,
we cut that cord, eh?
We had to. Did we ever call the board and try to file a claim?
Yes, we made the phone call. I did a lot of inquiry. I took it upon myself as my personal mission to bring her to what? Justice? I mean, I never followed through though, so therefore...
Yeah, justice wasn't served.
It wasn't, and it's not too late though. The only reason we put a sock in it, or is that the phrase? Putting a sock in it?
I think it's too late.
Or like
think
put
you
a
only
span
have a year.
No, you don't. You have like 10 years.
I don't think that's
You have
accurate.
10 years.
She's
I feel like I can...
making
No. But we had paused that whole thought and action because we were still not in possession of a green card. So I don't think we wanted to, change focus or risk what we were busy with at the time. So we probably decided that we were
took the high road, actually.
Did we?
I think you had a friend that you were ranting and
Yes.
venting to, and they were like,
Yeah.
You know what? Just be the bigger person. Don't do that. Count your blessings.
Okay.
You're here now.
I'm surprised you remember that. You
Yes.
said that.
And so...
But that's not why I
really
stopped.
my style, but I think it's actually...
It served us.
It did serve us well.
But I still feel like if it were up to us, it wasn't so much that we wanted justice to be served. It was mainly because I really don't believe anybody should go through what we went through.
That's true.
And she should not be practicing law, period. Because you do not offer what you promise to offer your clients.
Well, at least
you
not in
don't
this
give
field. Or you need to
counsel.
re-educate yourself.
Or
and,
that.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was in the previous episode.
And so now...
We finally...
We fired her.
We were able to get a new attorney, a new law firm on retainer
through another recommendation, but this recommendation
Absolutely.
was
On point.
much better than the last.
Yeah. They pretty much got to work immediately. I had spoken to them before we signed the contract to have them on retainer. But as soon as those documents were signed, they got straight to it. And they were obviously going to pick up sort of where Katie left off, and that was actually go ahead and file for the adjustment of status. That's where we were in our process. So while they were starting, kind of picking up where Katie left off, we were waiting for Katie to pay back.
Yeah, we
The
had
money.
paid her the money to submit the documents. Then she wanted to hold on to that and not give it back to us after we
Yes.
already decided that she was no longer going to represent us.
Mm-hmm.
Then she wouldn't release our documents that she had, which is our documents. By law, they have to release that
To us.
information to us, those forms. It's ours. Still waiting on those.
Yeah, she didn't do anything that we didn't expect.
But let's not beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
Let's beat it. But we got rid of her and we found some amazing, well-equipped attorneys. And you want to know something crazy? What a blessing these attorneys are and how thorough they are.
Yeah.
Because one of the craziest things that happened in this whole process, especially with having the girls make it here safely. Remember when we told you that Roxy had a dun-da-dun moment and she opened up the sealed envelope that said, "Do not touch, do not open, completely confidential." Remember that piece?
Mm.
And we threw it up to the Lord and we said he sent us a blessing because those documents revealed that everything was expired and we had to
have the medical exam done again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she would have showed up to the
Homeland Security.
Homeland Security and they would have turned away or
Customs.
sent her right back home.
Woo.
So now, by the grace of God,
We have
they made it through customs, right? When they came into the state, they made it through customs, no problem. They didn't even harass you at all, right?
Everything was fine.
Everything, no problem.
Smooth.
So now we have this very articulate, very thorough, very proficient attorney, and they're going through all the documents that we have given them, that we have, so that they can file on our behalf. And they're just asking us, making sure we have all the documents, and they ask for an unabridged birth certificate.
Unabridged.
Unabridged, is that what it's called?
Yes. Well, they could see that I had a birth certificate, and they could see that Yasmin had one too. But the unabridged birth certificate, for those who don't know, is just a birth certificate that has either one or both of your parents' names on. And those birth certificates were only sort of a staple, or the law was only passed for children to have that after Yasmin was born. The only reason she has one is because when we applied for her passport, that was what she needed to have. So she was good.
But here in the States or America, it is required that you have the...
Do you have one?
I'm not sure. But I guess for you, it was required. That was a requirement. That's what the attorney said, that it was
A requirement.
requirement to have the unabridged birth certificate.
So I needed one. The same one that Yasmin had, I needed. And when I was born, those were not the ones that were given out. So what made no sense was the fact that we had been to a visa interview at the US consulate and no one flagged it there.
I know. But they said that they believe that it slipped through the tapes because that's something that
Slipped through the cracks.
Yeah. Slipped through the cracks because that's something that they should have had, that you should have had coming into the States. That they could have flagged it then.
Yeah.
And turned turned it around.
I just don't think everybody follows the same memo, even though it's immigration.
Could you imagine?
It makes
Could
no
you
sense.
imagine going through all that and then getting to the gates and they said, "Where's your
That would be
unabridged birth certificate?"
That would be dumb.
It would be done, but like, there's nothing you can do
Oh,
about it.
shame for whoever would be there dealing with me. I feel sorry for them.
Right, but nonetheless, it slipped through the cracks. She got here, and so in my opinion, trying to expedite things, just want this to be done already. My theory was like, if it already slipped through the cracks to get you here, don't you think it would be fine just to submit
not.
that for the green card process? And they
strongly
were
advised against
adamant
it
about it, yeah.
because of the fact that they already had a South African client who was in the same position that I was in, who got the status or the adjustment of status declined just because of their document, the birth certificate. It's not like the one you're given at birth is, insufficient, but it also is that it's not sufficient. Like, it's like a catch-22.
Right.
You have one, but it's not the one that they want you to have.
So they basically were like, you got lucky the first time around. We're not going to risk it
Again.
this second go around.
Yeah.
We got to get the unabridged birth certificate.
So
let's talk about that.
Unfortunately, that was the beginning of a little bit of another nightmare in a sense, because
just another roadblock encountered.
I don't know how many more, but yeah, let me not ask the universe. I didn't mean that. It was slightly, not even slightly, it felt like a little bit of a nightmare, because how I had to go about it was just make sure that there was an affidavit signed from me in the US, giving my mother permission in South Africa to apply for this new birth certificate on my behalf. However, it makes no sense in certain instances, because what if you don't have a relationship with both of your parents? How do you get the other parent to sign that they are okay with doing this reapplication? So long story short,
you have to get your dad's signature.
They wanted it, but I let them know that, my dad and I are not in communication like that. So having to hunt him down to get, that would have just been another long story. So after knocking on so many doors just to get my letter giving my mother permission, it needed to be stamped by a, what do you call it? Public?
A notary.
Republic?
Notary Republic, yeah.
I feel like we're making that up.
No, it's a notary republic. Notary.
Or public?
Yeah. No, notary. It says notary something.
Okay, that person. In South Africa, it's very straightforward. We just take whatever we need signed to the police station and they stamp it. And Bob is your uncle. You have the confirmation that you need from an authoritative figure. In the States, it does not work like that. So I went to 1 or 2 police stations. I went to the courthouse.
Like you had 2 heads when you went to the police station, right?
I got so annoyed with explaining what I needed, even though I had the document that says what I need and I verbalized what I need. It just became really monotonous having to explain myself, and no one knew what I was talking about or who was supposed to help me. So from the police station, they sent me to the courthouse. From the courthouse, they sent me back. From the courthouse, I think they may have told me someone else to call that's in downtown LA. That was a hot mess. My mother, who's in South Africa, eventually tells me who I can get it from in the United States. This individual called a notary. And
we found, there's a bunch of them.
And then there was one around the corner.
Yeah.
After I'd been to 4 different places and gotten really frustrated, eventually we find the one around the corner, and this woman literally wants to charge me $50 per page for her to sign it, for her to give me the stamp. And it came out to like 4 or 5 pages that needed to be authorized, which makes no sense, because how can you be paying over $200 just for someone to authorize your document that your mother has to go and apply for a birth certificate? It just seemed dodgy, in my opinion. Long story short, eventually we find out that the South African consulate in Los Angeles can authorize it for me. Was I not ecstatic on that day when I walked into the consulate and I just gave them my form, and
did you feel like you were at home?
I felt like I was walking through those doors. I felt like those angels singing in the background, just like that moment, man. You know what I'm talking about. I heard my accent. I was greeted with friendly faces. They took my letter, they compiled it with their document, and basically authorized everything free of charge. And yeah, that's the pack I sent home, or I had scanned and sent to my mother. She goes and she applies for this new birth certificate for me. And then that's another how many weeks? If you're in South Africa, you wait about 6 to 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. We didn't have another 6 to 8 weeks to wait.
Didn't they say that it was going to... Yeah, we did.
I didn't.
You didn't.
No, ain't nobody got time for that.
But they said it was going to take up to 4 months, didn't they?
No.
Or 3 to 4 weeks?
No, not 3 to 4 weeks.
6 weeks, and you expedited it.
No, it takes about 8 weeks.
So that's what I said, 2 months.
Okay, well.
Yeah, 2 months, but didn't you expedite it?
Yes, I eventually found a business online that could expedite it once you already submit your application. Pay them an extra fee, of course, to do what they do. And we got it within 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
So it wasn't too long of a wait. But as you all can imagine, it does seem like one thing after the other, and you just want to get the process done with.
And for me, I mean, schedule's back to normal for me. So
yeah, you're fine. You happy because
really
we're here?
Feel that I'm happy you guys are here,
which is nice.
How was that mental process for you? I mean, you're in a new place now. You're dealing with all this. I mean, I know work is a huge part of your identity.
Yes, that's a great way of putting it, and that's accurate. We arrived in November, and I didn't have any sort of pressure on myself to work. I feel like I may have been okay with the 6 month adjustment period, settling in, making the house a home, Yaz being in school, us being married. So I'd given myself about 6 months, but by this point, we're nearing on 7, so the clock is ticking in my mind. And my mental process was just really being tested at that point, because when we came into this roadblock and I was doing the door-to-door situation, trying to find someone to help me, and I kept on being met with people who couldn't understand what I needed and weren't able to help me in their capacity, I was really frustrated. I may have felt like just packing up and going back at this point. I felt like no one was on my team. That's how I felt. And it's not like you could have done anything differently or helped, but it wasn't a fun time.
So how was it for you emotionally with the lack of work? Because as far as financially, we weren't struggling. We were fine. We weren't pressed for you to work. So it was really more of a internal thing for you. How was
I missed it because I love working. I love what I do, and being in front of the camera or DJing, whether it's modeling or acting or DJing or just creating, having the luxury to create even in between shoots with my friends who are also creatives. There was a big piece missing. That's what it felt like. And it's not like you can just fill that with other things, because you can be so happy in your relationship and in your life, but there are certain aspects that just can't be filled with things, and that would be the feeling of being on set and creating, whether it's television or print. the feeling of being able to play to an audience. And if not play to an audience, being able to go to school and just use my DJ school studio. If I didn't have gigs, but I would have that space to practice. And I didn't have that, so it just felt like something was missing. And obviously we know what those something was, so.
Yeah. And then, so finally, we were able to, after 4 weeks, we got the unabridged birth certificate.
Yeah, we got a scan. We sent them the scanned copy.
The official.
Oh, you only really need all your official or your original documents when you do your visa interview. So this enabled them to actually go ahead and submit for us. Mm-hmm. And this is about July, August.
DHL to have it mailed to us? Or did somebody that was coming to the States?
No, my mother sent it via DHL. But this brings us to about August when we are able to actually file. And now it's another waiting game because there's obviously a system that the consulate has, and it's not like as soon as they get your application and your pack of info that you get seen to, there's a list of people that are obviously in the line before you.
But I mean, at this time there was a bit of an exhale, a bit of
there was nothing else that we could do.
We can do at this point.
But wait.
And we did feel that we were in good care with these attorneys, that
for sure
they did have our best interest. It was just the inconvenience of having to get the document. So when we finally got it and we knew that they were super thorough. They sent us a email basically explaining next steps and what to expect and documents that we needed to start collecting.
Yeah, compile our documents. This is way before we even have an interview date.
Right.
Like, that's how thorough they are. Or they were.
Yeah. Compiling documents to show proof of our relationship or our union. And
the questions were a little bit much, though, in my opinion. Do you remember them? It's like a list of about 50 plus questions that I wasn't stressed about it, but I felt like we needed to sit and go over them. That's how I felt.
Because the questions are so basic, but it's things that you, like, if you live with somebody, you probably don't even think about these type of things. And like some of the questions would be like, where is your laundry held, or where's your linens? What cabinet is your linens held?
What side of the bed do you sleep on? What day does the garbage, what do you call them?
The garbage man.
Yeah, well, what day of the week does the garbage man come?
And there was a whole list. There was a lot. Maybe...
That's why I said over 50.
Yeah, maybe another episode we can talk just specifically about.
There are some people that have actually asked about the type of questions, so we could cover that. Are we allowed to? Is it like confidential?
I don't think so. We better double check.
You don't want to get into trouble.
Yeah.
Giving them the tea before they get
But we just wanted to be over-prepared.
Totally.
With the lack of preparation that we've had previously, we just wanted to make sure we over-prepared. So we did discuss the questions. We went over them. Just because, when you're in an interview, you're nervous. This is like your whole livelihood that is banking on somebody to say
yes or no.
Yes, I believe you guys.
Yeah.
And so we just wanted to be over prepared, and we started getting all our documents, pictures, just anything to show proof that this wasn't a fraudulent act. And then it was, back to a regular schedule. Yaz was still in school.
No, she wasn't in school during that time. She was on summer break. She just got back to school, but she was on summer break. The new school year basically started for.
Well, we took some trips. We went up to Sacramento.
Yeah.
Finally, we
get a letter in the mail saying that we have an interview date. And the crazy thing is, the interview date was exactly 12 months after we arrived. So to me, in my mind, I'm like, what? It must mean something, like, what was I saying? It's like, it's a sign from God, etc. Or maybe they just have it noted in the little system when you arrive in the United States that this is when you checked in, when you came through these gates. And this is the type of visa that you come in on, or that you came in on. So by this date, you should either have your documents and be allowed to stay, or not and have to leave. There must be some type of system like that. I don't know. But it was 12 months later, we finally get our interview. How was your, how were you feeling on the day? Because it was all three of us that had to be at the interview, Yasmin included. And they were going to ask us some questions too.
Yeah, the day of, I was super excited. I was nervous. I'm a worry where I get nervous for anything. It's a little bit ridiculous. I'm working on it. I know you. But I'm just excited that it's finally here. I know the pressure you were feeling of not being able to work, or just missing getting back out there and just having the opportunity to work. I feel like you were at a stalemate, and just to know that you were gonna be able to get back out there, and that this was bringing us that much closer, that was a nice relief for me. And then I guess just the nerves of the unexpected. Are we gonna get, an interviewer that's super anal and just like really trying to dig to see if this is fraudulent, or if it was somebody that was gonna take it at face value and see the relationship that we have was authentic.
We prayed about it, of course. And we even prayed for the individual that was gonna.
Yeah, people are.
That was gonna.
You're humans. Who knows? You
could be having a bad day.
Yeah, exactly. You could have had she could have had a bad day. Got up that morning, had a horrible fight with their spouse, and they come into that office and spew all that negative energy onto us. So it was important for us to pray that we had somebody that was in positive spirits, that was, in the right frame of mind.
What did you think of him? I like the fact that he was a Mexican.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Super nice.
I was like, yay.
Really nice.
Mexicano.
And we had to wait a little. We had a nice lunch. The food in there was really good.
At the consulate.
Yeah, at the consulate.
Was it? Yes.
Yeah, they had the buffet. They had the whole spread. They had the cafe.
It's a pretty big building.
But we thought we were just gonna, because we had a scheduled time. So when we got there, we thought we were gonna be able to just go in.
And there's a whole process.
But I think we had a good hour and a half to wait. So we grabbed some lunch, and then we came back, and they finally called us in. And I honestly was expecting it to be more than it was. We prepared for the worst, and luckily we got something that was the complete opposite of that. They didn't talk to me much. I was there present with them. I feel like a lot of the questions were directed to my stepdaughter Yaz, which is, at this time she's 11. I don't know, for those of you who have kids, the level of things that you have them remember, but they were asking her for my phone number, Roxy's phone number, the street address.
Our address in Cape Town. And
that's not something that she knew organically. Like, we taught her that for this specific reason, thinking, anticipating that being a question that, they would ask. But that's not something that I guess it's good. It doesn't hurt to know.
It's important to know.
Those numbers, but I don't think
It's important to know those.
No, it's very
And your
important, but I don't
address.
think it was something that she had known. Maybe the phone.
Well,
I know
she
she knew
knew-
my number because I remember she called me from school.
Yeah, but she knew all the info in Cape Town. Like, I taught her that when she was already in the first grade. That was one of the first things. So, like, my cell phone number, her grandmother's number, her dad's, and street address.
Mm.
So, it's definitely good to know.
It's very conversational. He was asking her about her experience in the States so far. He was really nice. And then the same thing with me. He asked me, my wife's birthday, Yaz's birthday, where we got married. Just validating questions.
But then you were the one who explained how we met. I didn't do that.
But that wasn't a question. I came out. I almost did I kind of did a speech. Like, initially, I came out and I basically said, hey, look, I understand this process, but I just want you to know that,
laying it down.
I did.
In advance.
I did.
It was right at the beginning.
Right at the beginning. I had prepared it. I don't remember what I said now, but I remember I was nervous because I didn't want to fumble my lines, but I had something prepared for him just to basically validate our love and our union prior to him asking the questions is basically what I did.
Okay.
And we passed, but there was something that
happened. We didn't get told then that we passed.
I know, but he was super nice. He said something like, why did this take so long? He made it seem like it could have been done so easier.
And then he even gave us he had even made the comment that we never needed to go through an attorney. He had even said that to us.
Oh, he did say that.
And at the end of the interview, it's not like he gives you a yes or a no, but it's the we'll let you know type of speech. But he
did mention something about like, oh, it should take like 3 weeks or something.
No, he said it could be 2 more months after the fact.
But I think he said 3 weeks.
No, it came sooner. But he didn't say that because I was shocked at him giving us a timeline that it could take even longer just to hear back. And if we don't hear back within a certain period of time, we can call to like follow up. That threw me off. The fact that we said either 2 months or 3 months, we would know. A few weeks later, we get the approval in the mail. Ooh, happy days. Happy days.
Permanent residency.
Yo. It's almost
pew,
like...
Pew, 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 pew. Yo, those are fireworks. Explosion.
Okay. Thank you. I see them. Yo, I wasn't expecting it to come so soon. And we finally got that letter. I feel like framing it.
Was it before or after the new year?
It came just before the new year. So like mid-December. And our interview was in November. So it was within a month that we got that approval. And that basically just gave me the fire inside that I needed to get out there.
And we celebrated. We went to Big Bear, family vacation. We went into the new year feeling good.
Yeah.
2020 wasn't going to be.
We're going to turn up.
We was going to turn up.
2020. 2020 vision.
2020 vision. Went into the new year with our close family and friends. And, sky's the limit to what?
Not even the sky. Like
the atmosphere.
Atmospheric spaces. There was no limits now.
Of what 2020 had in store. And the start of 2020 was great. Within a month, you were signed by our agency.
Mm-hmm. Well, before we did all that, I had to make sure that I got a social security number, which I never thought was completely separate to a green card. I don't know how many people know that. It's 2 different things. But you have to have the green card before you apply for the social security. And that's actually what allows you to work. Because that's what they ask you for.
Correct.
Right.
And did that take a long time to come?
It took a few weeks.
The Social Security card.
But by January, I had it. Because
Okay.
I was like, op it. In Afrikaans, we say op it. Say op it.
Op it.
Op it.
Up it.
No,
Op it.
just op it.
Op it.
Yeah.
Op
Like
it.
on top of things.
Yes, op it.
Yeah, just like that.
Yeah.
So once we had that social, I was like,
Hit the ground running. Oh, I couldn't keep her in the house
oh my
long
gosh.
enough. She was out just in the streets.
Oh.
Grinding.
Okay.
But I got her signed. Well, I didn't get her signed.
I was just going to say.
I gave her, I introduced her.
You did.
I made the introduction
and I thank
to
you.
my agency.
And I thank you and I thank them.
Welcomed her with open arms.
The DJ gigs were just flowing like a water.
The auditions
waterfall.
too. You were all going
Yeah.
out auditioning.
I think it was from 0 to like 3-4 castings a week maybe.
She was illuminating, just
Oh.
like, I'm casting again.
Casting?
I'm casting.
Okay.
Get my little fits on. I left the cast, which I hated.
What?
Casting.
Oh yeah, he does
I
hate
don't
it.
like. But
I love it.
I left the cast and I'm ready.
I
and
was.
We were slaying.
Yep.
Oh, couple boards. What?
Not everybody knows what couple boards are. You have to explain.
So we've always done things individually.
Mm.
They have a male board for male work,
Males.
and then a woman board for the women. But then there's a division for couples and
Or
families.
family. Yeah.
If you have children that aren't camera shy and they enjoy being in front of the camera, a lot of the times commercial work is all chemistry. So why not just cast a family if they look the part? Because obviously they're going to have the chemistry. Unless your kids hate your parents, which is not our case. But yeah, so they brought us on to represent us on the couples board, family board, which is not, when you get signed with the agency, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to, they have to basically have to be elected, chosen
Yeah.
for the different
Boards.
that they have representation for.
Yeah. We're doing some
We were
nice
going
castings.
to really, really
Yeah.
nice castings.
Mm-hmm.
Hopes were high. We were getting really great receptions.
Yeah.
The feedback from, the casting directors, again, up and up.
Up and up.
Yeah,
and then the
DJing.
DJing gigs was, I feel like I found my little community in LA during this time. So not only did I find my small like South African clique, my South African friends, or at least met South African DJs who are now my friends, but also some American DJs who kind of like took me under their wing. So I feel like this is my tribe, this is my family now, on the social front. And these guys have opened up their space and their community to me, which I couldn't be any more thankful and grateful for. It literally aided in giving me that energy that I feel like I lost in a sense, to be able to create with them, to be able to throw events with them. If anything comes up on their side, for them to reach out to me and pull me or include me, it meant so much to me. So that was all that I wanted, to be honest. And then to be able to play at a venue consistently, not as though I'm a resident DJ, but just consistently enough to where, you're able to meet other clients. So I was fortunate enough to be playing at the W Hotel in West Beverly Hills for, 2 to 3 times a month. And that was so dope. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So this is us like January, February, March, living our lives.
Man, we are excited.
And my 30th birthday is approaching.
It's approaching. The wife's in good spirits. And then shots fired. Bang, bang.
Oh my gosh.
COVID-19 hits. And it just shut us down. Shut us down.
Just shut everyone down.
So that's where we're gonna stop, my dear friends. Next week we will pick up and talk about how we've been managing the COVID-19,
the stay-at-home order,
and how it's been affecting our life in a positive and also the negative. We want to thank you so much for tuning in this week on Going the Distance with Nico Rocks. If you have
what?
If you have
questions,
feedback,
comments.
Yes, I'm losing my words. That's why 2 minds are better than one. We love responding and interacting with our listeners.
Yes.
You can reach us at nikolai.roxanne@gmail.com.
Yes.
Also, share the love. If you've enjoyed our content, please send it to your friends. Bring them into the tribe. Welcome them to the community. The more, the merrier. My name is Nikolai. This is my beautiful wife, Roxanne, a.k.a. Rock Sizzle. And we's out here.
That's us, man. We did them things.
Yo, I don't know what I was saying at the end there.
That's funny.
I was losing it. Thanks.
No, it's okay.
It's more the merry. Saved me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got you. So, any final words for our audience watching from YouTube?
I really hope you guys like the visuals. You know, it was our idea to, give you something to see while we're shooting our audio. Sometimes people like the visual more. I personally do myself. So we really hope you're enjoying the content. Like, share, subscribe. Hit the little bell, ding, ding. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, bring everybody.
Tell your friends about me.
Welcome to the community, and we're out. Peace and love.
Bye.